All right, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Give us 1 second to check the feed. Yep. All right. Shalom, shalom. All
Shalom.
right. The brothers from Great Millstone, Charlotte, coming back with another Lord willing, edifying lesson to feed the elect of the nation of Israel. And before we get started with the lesson, we want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachaha Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us his truth and that rule well. And peace and salutation to the elect until next Slaki. Peace and salutation to the elect. So pretty much in this video, as you see the title, it says this unwise king is destroying his servants. This unwise king that we're speaking of, all right, is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Because when you go into who is running the world, as it says, in Job 9:24, the so-called white man, he is the one, all right, known as the wicked. And when you look at how he is working the people to death, man, like we had came across this picture a few weeks ago, and it kind of sparked the idea for this lesson. Esau is literally working the people to death, man. You know, Cornwall, if you got anything you can add?
I'm gonna grab this in Revelation
Mm-hmm.
real quick. This Revelation 6 and verse 4. It reads, "There went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth,
Yep.
and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword." Right? So Esau Edom has been given the power to take peace, not only by the means of right constant warfare, but the people can't live a natural life. Right? People
Mm-hmm.
are subject or continually in subjection. Right? So you're a constant state of slavery, which is it wears on the body, man. It wears on the body, wears on the mind. It wears on the spirit, right? So with him being given this power, right, he's been given authority to pretty much destroy, every living thing, right, in multiple facets of life, man.
Kind. Just I quoted it. I'm gonna read it just to add to the brother's point. This is Job 9:24. It says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" We want to focus on the first part where it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, because these Edomites, all right, have the world's riches. We all know that these elites, the 1%, all right, they own the mass majority of the wealth, all right, of the world. So they have the ability to pretty much, spread this wealth out to where there's no poor. All right, there's no, starving. All the world's problems can be solved with the amount of money that these elites have. But why these people are known as the wicked? Because they're totally adverse to life. Everything that these devils, are about is in opposition of life, because they're anti Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man, which is why everything that the scriptures say, they do the opposite. But when it comes down to their people that they are governing over, who they refer to as goyim, all right, cattle, slaves, whatever you want to call us, they look at us as expendable, so they don't care about what happens to the people, as long as they can suck the people dry, make as much money off of them, and eventually dispose of them, which is why you're seeing AI beginning to take over, and he's removing jobs out of the out of the way, so people aren't going to be able to work. And this is why he's about to do a great culling in the world, and murder billions of people, because as we know, according to the Georgia Guidestone, they want to keep the population, I believe it's under 500 million,
Yep.
you know. So it's going to be a lot of death that's going to result from the different things that this devil is doing. And one of these things that he's doing is, like I said, he's working the shit out of the people. Okay. We can go ahead and grab that Micah, Baba Kushah.
God. This book of Micah, chapter 2, and verse 10. "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction."
Right, and this is a message to you, you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans. All right, you you should know that we are in captivity first and foremost. All right. So Yahweh Shem Shai is telling us that this is not a rest, and we are supposed to separate from this place spiritually, all right, and mentally, and Lord willing, we're of the elect. We'll soon, depart from this place physically. But right now, we are here. All right, and you can hold that Baruch too, Bible Shah. But we're here, serving out our captivity, and in the midst of us being here under these devils, all right, this place is all set up to destroy Jake. All right, from the food to the water to the air to the mindset of the people, everything that this kingdom, is pretty much made of, is purposely destroying Jake, man. Your clothes, all right, the everything, So this shows you that this is why we can't put stock here. This is why Yahweh Shem Shah told us, like in Second Peter, the third chapter, that we have no continuous city here, man. All right, we seek for a world that dwelleth in righteousness, man. All right, so understanding that we can't, allow ourselves to be consumed with this place, which is what you see happening with a lot of people because they have their confidence in Babylon, so they're trying to hold on, and by them, working the shit out themselves, all right, working 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs, man, working, multiple days, a week, like 7, 14, 16 days a week. This shit is unnatural. This is why the Lord did things like give us the Sabbath, man.
Exactly.
Because just like the earth, the servants need rest, man. And Esau doesn't care about rest. Like I said, he wants to milk you like a battery until you have no more use of him, and then he's gonna get rid of you.
Mm-hmm.
You got it out. You gonna say something?
God, it's a scripture pretty much that talks about how he will draw you forth uh once or thrice, right? Pretty much how
Mhm.
he'll wring you dry, right, until he's done. He's gotten his use out of you, man. Right. So this is the spirit that Esau has always been in, right? It was in him, right, to come and take that peace, to take that tranquility, right, from the people, man, right,
Right.
where you could actually live on the earth, right, without interference. Right now, he's put himself in the position where you have to go. Everybody has to go to him for all things, man. Right?
Uh-huh.
Everybody's finding themselves subject to these curses. So now, right? What we're seeing is the full combination of that going into, as you brought out, them implementing this AI, them implementing, this different technocracy, right, in order to phase the people, right, out of the equation.
God damn, I was trying to pull up that article Tazwan had sent. See if I can find another one. Well, you can keep speaking, bro. I'm trying. I think
I'm
this is it.
gonna see if I can find that. Let's see.
Got it. All right, I got it right here. So this is from the New York Times. It says, "Don't call it a side hustle. These Americans are polyworking." Okay, because as we're saying, Esau is pretty much working the shit out of the people. Matter of fact, real quick, grab that. Well, you still got the Baruch, right?
Okay.
We'll get that first, and then hold Damn, I just slipped my mind. Um, Damn, it slipped my mind. Well, if it come back, well, I'll pull it myself. But if you can grab that Baruch real quick before I read this,
Okay. It's Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity,
right?
where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers,
Right.
which
So it says that we are yet this day in our captivity and we're subject to payments because hey, Babylon pretty much is a system that's set up to keep you in perpetual debt. All right. This is why when you look at the debt clock, America is in trillions. Well, it's more than what they actually show, but on there it says trillions of debt. All right. So much so that literally if you were actually trying to pay back the debt, you would never be able to because we're that much in the hole because this is a debt based society. People are drowning in debt, man. All right, from them trying to keep a roof over their head, keeping a car. All right, the gas and maintenance for the car, groceries, phone bill, cable bill, all these different is bills on top of bills, and these bills are rising in price. So Jake has to, well, everybody now, but this specific talking about Jake, have to pretty much, work multiple jobs, man, as side hustles, two jobs, whatever the case may be, to try to stay afloat. And it's like you were saying earlier, that shit, it weighs on you, and eventually it will kill you if you don't, find a medium. Which is why, going back to what I said about the Sabbath, this is why understanding the Lord's ways, hey, you appreciate the Sabbath, man, because the Lord actually gave us a day to rest, all right, and try to, to recover, for the time that we're able to actually keep the Sabbath, man. You got to like it.
Yep. Going back, this is Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power.
Right. And just going back to the curses, curses said that we were going to seek to this man for the one of all things, man. All right. So we have to go to the devil for our food, for our clothing, for our water, house, and everything, whatever. So showing that, look, this man has the people in his clutches. But like I said, if you were a smart king, all right, if you look, at the longevity of what keeps kingdoms thriving, you understand it's off of the back of the servants. So if you want a flourishing kingdom, then you would think that this man will, treat his servants right. But there's no righteousness in Esau, man. There's no wisdom in Esau. So this nigga literally, his mindset is just to fucking go, 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 consume, consume, consume till there's nothing left. And eventually, things that's what causes things to die or go extinct, because Esau has no stop. He has no chill, man. You
Yep.
know. Reset real quick. Um, kind of reiterate what I'm saying. So this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 5. It says, "For our time," when you go into this chapter, this is the mindset of the wicked. It says, "For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning. For it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again." Because these devils believe that when they die, they're just going to, dissipate into non-existence. So they're not going to have to pay for anything that they've done. Which we know this is really the mind state of the simple Edomites, because the elites know and believe reincarnation, man. All right. But anyways, it says, "Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in the youth," which is what we're going into now. As Esau said, he's going to use you, all right, to pretty much, his content. All right. It says, "Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of voluptuousness his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this." So this devil will literally go throughout the whole earth and pretty much destroy the earth just so he can leave a monument of his existence, which is why you see Esau, erecting, different statues, different, buildings and things like that. Like, for example, you see, Petra, that's a monument of these devils that they left, to show that they were there. All right. You see, different things like Rome. You see, Greece. All right. You know, all the lands that Esau came and conquered. All right. He made sure that his remnant is remembered in those lands. So right now, here in Babylon, all right, Esau is pretty much using up the people, like I read in verse 6. "Let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth." So he wants to milk you for everything that he can before you die, man. All right. This is why, you have the medical system. All right. Job was that 13:4. I want to say that he's a physician of no value, the forger of lies. You know, the medical system isn't meant to heal you. It's meant to treat you so that you can, still have the symptoms and they come back to try to heal you. Okay. This is proof that we're still in our captivity, because the king can literally do what he wishes with us, and he doesn't get, any type of reprimand or how you say that word, reprimandation.
Yeah, getting reprimanded. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not reprimanded for the wickedness he's doing to his people, the sex trafficking, the organ trafficking. You know, this nigga will literally ruin everybody's life just for a profit, man.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, I got
you
this
got
for you
lucky.
real quick, priest.
Mm-hmm.
This Sirach 13 in verse 3. It reads, "The rich man hath done wrong, and yet he threateneth with all. The poor is wronged, and he must entreat also.
Mm-hmm.
If thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
Mm-hmm. You
If
got it.
thou, I mean, pretty much like what you were saying, right? He's gonna use you right till there's nothing left, and when there's nothing left, he's gonna cast you aside, man. Right? That's why you see when he invades these nations, right? He'll take up the natural resources. He'll use the people to the point of no return, and then once he sees no more value, he's gonna leave it right desolate, man. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It
like
says,
the precept I just quoted, my brother
yeah,
shining the gospel, endurance is key. Job 13:4. But you are forgers of lies. You are all physicians of no value. Hey, Esau, he's not about to try to help, save your life, man. All right. Like I said, he wants to slow kill you. Okay, because when you look at how Esau was doing Jake in slavery versus today, Esau didn't give a fuck. They would just kill Jake, which because they had insurance policies, which they still do on us today. But they had insurance policies on their slaves, so you could beat your slave to death and he get a payout. So this is why they had no problem hanging Jake, setting Jake on fire, having their way with him because they understood that they were going to get paid just like today. So instead of them doing the same thing, they stretch it. They're like a leech trying to suck all the blood out of you. So they suck all the resources out of you. And even look at the world with the different heathen nations, man. He's doing
mm-hmm.
that with them. All right, sucking all the resources from them that he can before he dips out. Like you look at what happened with Libya. All right, you see how that land was before with Gaddafi before he came in there, and then after they killed Gaddafi, how that looks. Look at America. Look at Israel. Look at everywhere Esau Edom's been. It's been the same thing, man. You know, that's
Exactly.
why he's known as the son of perdition, man. Because everywhere he goes, there's death. But just keeping things focused over here in Babylon, you see that same mentality is being done now. Because one thing, can you read that verse again you just read?
God. So Sirach 13 and verse 4. It reads, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if
Mm-hmm.
thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
Like, and a good example of that is we see what Esau is doing with the middle class. The middle class was pretty much used to keep America thriving because we know America is nothing but a big ass corporation. All right. So the people are what keep this economy going. But we're at a point to where Esau is ready to do away to America because when you listen to these Amalekites talk, like that video, um, Rabbi Finkelstein, the guy that exposed how they be putting human meat in these fast food places. But he had made a point in that interview and he was telling them like the elites been had their use, with America finished. So they just been, allowing these things to take place for prophecy's sake, you know. Yeah, Abba Shemal Shai has been letting these things, go on, but we're at a point to where these devils see that they're against, they're behind their goal because they see that the prophecies are taking place. The Israelites are waking up. Yahweh Shah's on the way back. They see that in NASA, so their back is against the wall. They're trying to rush, and this is why they're showing you straight out. They don't give a fuck about the people. They're about to collapse this economy. They're about to take everything from you. Okay, and they're gonna in the midst of doing that, they're gonna allow the people to pretty much descend into that madness, man. Like it says in Matthew 24, the love of many, because of iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. You know, the people, he's gonna allow the people to pretty much, bug out. All right, it's going, be like the total anarchy, these different movies like The Purge, Mad Max, different ones like that, all show Esau knows the people are gonna lose it when they finally crash the shit. So like this article here on the screen, this is just them, continuing to press upon the people to eventually lead them to that point because you're already starting to see people crack, man. You know. So I'm gonna read this real quick. It says, "Don't call it a side hustle. These Americans are polyworking." It says, "For a growing number of Americans, juggling more than one job or polyworking has become just another day at the office. The number of people with multiple full or part-time jobs climbed over 8.9 million in March for the first time since 1994, where the Bureau of Labor Statistics began tracking the phenomenon before ticking down slightly in April. As a practice is not so new, think moonlighting, but as a term, polyworking and the similar polyemployment is more recent. It began cropping up in human resource research and in traditional and social media after the C-19 pandemic as an upbeat spin on millennial workers' reputation for working on side hustles, trying to monetize hobbies and eschewing 9 to 5 work, which is what you saw, blow up what they call the gig jobs, the Uber Eats, the Lyft, Uber, the where you could go shop for people, the different, businesses like that, and so on, man. People were doing these different things during, C-19 because most of the world shut down at that time, so people was trying to find ways to stay afloat because the bills were still coming, man. But we're at a point in time now to where stuff is so expensive, the cost of living is out of control. These people are just working all these different jobs, trying to survive, man. You know.
Uh, if I may, I'll just check. I just looked up on ChatGPT. Why has polyworking became the norm for Americans? And it says um, rising cost of living and stagnant wages. All right, so it says many full-time jobs no longer provide a living wage,
Mhm.
especially in urban areas, pushing people to seek extra income. It said insecurity in traditional employment. It reads layoffs, automation, and outsourcing have made many workers feel they need a backup plan or a secondary income stream. Um, Jumping down, it says debt burdens. It says many Americans are weighed down by student loans, credit card debt, or medical debt, making a second job necessary to stay afloat. It says a lack of social safety nets. The U.S. has weaker social supports, health care, unemployment benefits, paid leave than other developed nations. This drives people to create their own safety net by diversifying income through polyworking. The summary says polyworking is not just a trend, it is a survival strategy and lifestyle adaptation to a volatile economic landscape enabled by technology and shaped by evolving cultural norms.
Um, so hey, you getting worked to death, and you're barely above water. Grab Habakkuk, sorry, Haggai 1:6. This ain't life, man.
Right.
This is not life, and this shows you that Esau is a wicked ruler. Because why would you work your servants to death like this, man? If you understood the dynamics of longevity, you would want to put your servants in the best position to serve you. You'll be able to get more out of us, or out of your servants. Because look, we ain't gonna be no goddamn service in the kingdom, so
Right.
ain't no more us, man. Hey, we're preparing for that transition. But us seeing what Esau's doing is showing us what we got to do. But you want to get the best out of your servants, so that your whatever you expect out of them is going to be above and beyond, man. Especially if they like you, you know.
Okay. So Haggai chapter 1 verse 6. You have sown much and bring in little.
Mm-hmm.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink.
Right,
Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes.
right. And this is why you seeing people working these poly jobs, man. They're trying to survive, man. But as it says, man, hey, these checks that you get, you can't even you can't even really even enjoy them because shit, what 3/4 of it is going to bills. So you already having to divvy out what you're going to have to, be, think about what you're going to be left with, and it's barely, much of nothing, man. Enough for you to probably get some gas, a little bit of groceries, you
Mm-hmm.
know, whatever the case may be, man. But hey, once your necessities is met, you barely have enough money to even try to put away if you do want to save, man. So this is just showing you once again that we are yet this day in our captivity, and you got these stupid niggas that still don't believe that we're in captivity. But as the Lord is making things more and more straight, these people are beginning to realize that, man. All right,
Mm-hmm.
because like I made mention of earlier, the middle class is pretty much being moved out the way. Everybody is being made poor as we speak, man. You know.
Exactly.
So I'll read a little bit more of this. It says, but as a term, polyworking or simply polyemployment is more recent. It began cropping up in human resource research in the traditional and social media after the C-19 pandemic as an upbeat spin on millennial workers' reputation for taking on side hustles, trying to monetize hobbies, and eschewing 9 to 5 work. It's a way to take back ownership of work and one's career in a meaningful way, pushing back against the sense that you are identified by one job, one employer, said Erin Hatton, a professor of sociology at the University of Buffalo who studies the labor market. But as she added, it candy coats the biggest reason many people do it. They have to. There is an element of gloss to it that minimizes the hardship and economic need that forces them to cobble together a variety of subpar jobs. Hadn't said because like you read in Chat GPT, man. Hey, these jobs, your so called one job, for most people can't even support your living, you know. And a lot of that also is a tribute to these people not living within their means too, man. You know, Jake's still out here trying to keep up with the Joneses, not realizing that the world is crumbling around him, man.
Right.
Niggas still breaking the bank for fucking Jordans. The latest the latest clothes that's out. Whatever the case may be, blowing their money on dumb shit, not realizing, like I said earlier, that this place is through. You know.
Mhm.
So continuing on, polyworking opportunities expanded this decade as the job market began to recover from the pandemic, said Guy Berger, the director of economic research at the Burning Glass Institute, a labor market think tank. There's so much desperation for labor, some employers that might have bristled at someone working another full-time job relaxed the rules, he said. The rise in remote work made it easier to clock in at multiple jobs, sometimes covertly, especially for white collar workers. Literally, you close one tab on your computer and open another, Berger said. About half of people with multiple jobs had a 4 year college degree as of December, up to 44% in 2014, according to March report from the Federal Reserve of St. Louis. And, keep going on. But at the end of the day, these people, they're, like I said, they're trying to stay above water. So you got to do that, man. You
Exactly.
know?
Right. There was I think it might have been on TikTok or something. But going into that point, people were working these work from home jobs, and they'd have one screen for one job, another screen for another job, and another third screen for another job. Man,
Man.
they would work in all these jobs at the same time. So these companies started getting hit to it, right? So now they're pretty much forcing you to focus on one, right? And
Right.
that's why more people are, they're in the world of Uber Eats, Door Dashing, right, doing Instacarts or picking up people's groceries and things of that nature
Hmm.
because they need something else to supplement. Because, like you said, they're living above their means, man, right? Most people, there was a statistic that said most people are a $500 emergency away, right, from bankruptcy, right?
Damn.
So this is the state that the world is in, and it's because this devil has put the squeeze on these people, man.
Hmm. So this is why at the end of the day, we saying Esau is an unwise king. All right. Let's go to Sirach 10 and start at the top.
This is so like it. So Ecclesiastes 10:1.
Sirach 10.
I was like Ecclesiasticus Sirach
Yeah.
10:1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
Now, if we just, stop at this scripture alone and we judge the current rulers of the world today, would you consider Esau Edom a wise judge? Hell no. Okay. Because look, as it says, a wise judge will instruct his people. All right. And you're going to instruct your people in what? Ways that will keep your kingdom going forever. All right. So we understand the wisdom that we're going to be teaching to the people that's going to be under us when we get in the rulership is the law, statute, commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, because that's the only way of life. And Esau knows that, but he's naturally contrary to the scriptures, man. All right, he couldn't do good if he wanted to, man, but he knows that the scriptures are a way of life because these researchers that have research history and all that, they see that the diet the scriptures talk about that's longevity in that, man. All right. the customs and things that we did as a people, it was longevity in it because the Lord's ways of life. And our people were closer to the Lord and his ways back then. So today, he has made Yahweh Shem Shah, all right, a distant thought, man. All right, to the point to where Jake has no remembrance of who their God is, man. And when they look at these scriptures, they look at them from a view of like, nah, man, that's too hard, you know. When the Lord's ways are easy, when you understand the things that He say, you're just like, yo, the Lord says don't do this for a reason, and no more times out of 10, that reason will get you destroyed. You know,
Exactly.
so Esau doesn't instruct his people to look at life, man. And it said the government of a prudent man is well ordered, and Esau surrounds himself with more devils, more Satanists, more witches, man. All right, so he's being governed by Satan. All right, which is why the second Thessalonians the second chapter, I think around the ninth verse, and you read it in the NLT, it says that he's coming with the workings of Satan. So he's coming with the instructions from Satan on what to do to bring wickedness into the earth, man. You know?
And that's why second John or First John, it talks about how there are many antichrists.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is that fulfillment. Right. Everything about this society is anti-Hamashiach, man. Right. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's everything is contrary to righteousness, and that's why we see the earth in the state that it's in.
Right. Because if he was a smart man, he would look at the trend, the rise and fall of the past kingdoms, and he would see that because history repeats itself, every time society went all the way left to where the Lord was pretty much beginning to be removed from society, the Lord destroyed that place, man.
Exactly.
And yet this dumbass nigga is going that same route, man. You know, showing you he's not a wise judge, man. You guys,
It's back in Sirach 10:2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
right? And it says the judge of the people is himself. It says the ruler of the city, what manner of the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So the people are a reflection of their king, man, of their ruler. And so we see that Esau Edom has put his spirit in the majority of this world. So everybody have the mind of an Edomite, which is to, consume until they destroy themselves, man. You know, to defy Yahweh Shem Shai and be, an anti-Messiah, man. You know, everything that Esau is, he puts that spirit on everybody, man. You know, this is why when the Lord said, hey, shall he find faith on earth? Everybody is demonic. Everybody is satanic, man. And so this is why when the Lord returns, he's only going to find faith in his elect. All right, because we're the only ones truly seeking him. All right, in the midst of us being pressed in this damn country, man, in this damn kingdom. Go
That's
ahead.
it. Verse 3. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited.
Yeah, and this is the where the inspiration from the title of the lesson came from, man. Because when you look at this unwise king, we've already determined that Esau is an unwise king. He's destroying the people, man. All right, and this is nothing more than a forewarning that we received during the curses when Moses was telling Israel, look, this is what's going to happen if you disobey the Lord. So I'll grab that real quick. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 50. It says, "A nation of fierce countenance." Actually, let me go to the verse. Hold on. Go to the blue letter. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. It says, "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young." And that's the Edomites, man. All right. And these devils came, all right, from the other side of the world over here to to the Americas, where the tribe of Gad and Reuben were, you know, along with other northern kingdom tribes as well. But at the end of the day, Esau came over here and quickly conquered our people, all right, and put us in the worst slavery that was ever known to man, all right. And he was doing all type of killing, physically, mentally, and spiritually, psychologically. He's destroyed generations of Israelites to this day, man, going from all the way back when he first came over here to America. But this is what the Lord forewarned was going to befall the nation of Israel, man. All right. So now we understand the mistake that we made of our disobedience. You know, hey, it says a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. This nigga literally, I believe I saw something was saying that like they're talking about raising the uh the age of retirement past 65.
Yep. I
So
think it's
it's pretty much
around
saying,
in the 70s.
say it again, Slocky.
So I think it's gonna be in the 70s.
Bro, the way niggas is dying, nobody is making it to 70. So Esau is literally telling you, work till you die.
Yep.
And here's the kicker: even if you do retire, you still have to get a side job because you can't survive off the fucking money they're giving you, man.
Exactly.
So you're screwed either way. This is a fierce this is that nation of fierce countenance, man. Because Esau doesn't give a damn, and he never gave a damn. When you look into those slavery pictures, you will see if you were old enough to walk, they had the little babies out there, man. You know, till today, you got Jake working from a young age. Look back, in older times. All right, hey, people had to choose between going to school or going to work because their family was so poor that they had to, the moment they could work, they were gonna have to go get a job, man. All right, to you go back to slavery time to if you was old, elderly or whatnot, to you literally was being worked to death. All right, people were literally in the field dropping dead from working, man. All right, and this is why we brought back that picture dealing with that Eve because this is the shit that you got to do, man. Hold on, let me pull it back up. It says 40-year-old Quita Cole reportedly worked 7 days a week, overworked, and allegedly suffered a case of burnt out. She took a nap and never woke up after saying Quita needs rest. R.I.P. Yeah, so she got off work, got on looks like Facebook, posted, "I'm taking the next 3 days off. Quita needs rest." Went to sleep and died. Hey, this is that cruel Lord, man. This nigga is making life so unbearable, bro, that people are literally working themselves to death all over again, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the field, in here. Okay. So this shows you that hey, we got to get the fuck out of this man's clutches, man.
Exactly.
You got something up?
Did you want me to finish that, Sirach?
Oh yeah, you can finish it out.
Okay. This back in Sirach chapter 10 and verse 4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable.
Yeah, it says the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. All right. So Yahweh Shem Shai is the one that has these devils over us right now, but it's the proof of point. All right, we're in our punishment. But at the end of the day, once as we see the Lord is pretty much, cleaning up Esau's mess little by little, that's when we get the kingdom, all right, when Esau is taken down and Jacob is put back in that rightful position as being the rulers of the earth, okay, we're going to show the earth why the Lord's ways are needed, okay? That's what's going to make us profitable to the earth because we're to bring back the ways of life to make sure that things are ran correctly, man. So Yahweh Shem Yahushua knows what he's doing, man. All right. We learned our lesson. We see what happens when his ways are not upheld in the earth, man. All right. And he showed us in the most worst way by putting this devil over us, man. Okay. Real quick, this is Isaiah 19 and 4. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, save the Lord of hosts. And hey, we understand. Okay. We understand now. And in order for us to be put in in that position of rulership again, we got to go through the downfall of this kingdom. So we're going to be put in these straight positions, man. All right, brothers are gonna have to work multiple jobs. Some brothers might lose jobs. Some brothers have families might have to rely on Esau's government assistance for the time being. Hey, scripture say use the world but not abuse it. So hey, you got to find your way to be able to get through this thing, man. Because hey, this devil is only going to get more draconian as things go. All right, and so we know all roads lead to the MOTB. You know, So this is why this economy is going to look like this. This is why, hey, you got to figure it out. But the most thing we can do is pray to Yahweh Shem Shai. He's going to take care of us, man. All right.
If I could, real quick, read this in the Good News translation. This is
Mm-hmm.
Sirach 13:7. It reads, actually, I'll start in 6. It says, if he needs you, he will trick you with his smiles and cheerful, kindly words. Do you need anything? He will ask. He will feed you until you are embarrassed. Finally, when he has drained you 2 or 3 times over, he will laugh at you.
Damn.
If you see him later, he will pretend he doesn't know you and will pass you by. Right? So this is
Mm.
what we're seeing take place, right? He's draining the people over and over and over again, and they're acting as if right nothing is happening, man. Right?
Right.
He's gonna flex his what's the unemployment numbers and things of that nature, as
Mm-hmm.
if the people aren't out here working. The reason they're high is because the same person got 5 jobs, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And this person is probably like the lady did, dying they sleep because they've been overworked so severely, man.
Yeah. This ain't life, like I said earlier. So much so that even the Esau's AI and robots know this shit, man.
Yep.
I got this video I wanted to show real quick, showing that. Right.
This AI robot experienced 15 minutes of wage slavery programmed to move boxes onto a conveyor belt, after which its algorithm decided it didn't like doing repetitive manual labor and immediately proceeded to commit slippy slide, determining it the most logical choice, just completely unaliving itself after only 15 minutes. Is AI really free of human error?
One more time, just showing you. But this nigga is showing the robot is showing you this ain't life, man. We weren't created to be here working fucking monotonous ass jobs, man. That's literally all we're doing is, new age shit that we were doing in Egypt. Hey, building the pyramids up, put brick by brick. We are literally doing that same thing for whatever company that we work for, man. All right. Hey, going to comparing the CEO to the pharaoh of whatever company, you're building up that person's treasure city, man. You know, because when you look at how life was supposed to be, all right, every brother, all right, had his family, and they would build up a business with his family. But Esau doesn't even let you do that. This is why he allowed women to work, gave you women's lib or whatnot, because it wasn't to give you women freedom. It was so that they can tax you too, man. Because like I said, everything about what Esau was doing is meant to milk every last dollar out you, man. So he destroyed the nuclear family, okay, put the woman at work, and then he sends your child to these public schools, which we just found out about that, man. Those books that you read in the McGraw books, they're written by a fucking Satanist, man. So they're indoctrinating you from a fucking child, all right, to be a mindless worker, all right, a human cog in the system that they're just going to work to death, man. This is the life that he has cultivated for humankind, man.
Right. It's a documentary. I wish I remember the name of it, but the woman was pretty much going into how the what they're doing right now is perfecting slavery, right? Where the pre-slavery that that the Southern Kingdom went through, the slave masters had to feed and care for the slaves, right? So they had to house them, they had to feed them, they had to make sure that their health was in somewhat decent order for them to continue to work, right? But now the what happens is the slaves have to take care of their own housing, the slaves
Mm-hmm.
have to take care of their own food, the slaves have to
Mm-hmm.
take care of their own health and medicine, right? And they have to go to the slave master to get all these things and pay what the little bit of wages that they do get to the master in order to have access to these things now, man. Right? So now they're reaping all the benefits without any of the responsibilities, right? Towards the people.
Man, this nigga is the devil, bro. This shit, and you still got dummies that won't accept that fact, bro. They really think this is how life is supposed to be, man. They wilding, bro. This shit is crazy. Real quick, get Proverbs 22 and 22.
Okay.
Because what you saying, all that's literally him robbing the people. All right, you give that's like the prison industrial was it prison industrial complex, the jails and prisons.
Yep.
You got these niggas literally in there working for 2 cents an hour. That's slavery. And they probably getting taxed on that too. So they getting nothing, man.
Right.
All right. So that shows you that this man is literally fucking. He's the devil, man.
Hey, that's what the school to prison pipeline, right? Why all
Yep.
these schools they're set up on the same time schedules as all these companies are, right? So the kids are either being conditioned to go into the workforce or going to the prison force, man.
Bro, it's the same thing. Hey, you in a line in the prison and in school, you're eating off the same lunch trays. All right. They it's the same you in a cell in the prison and you're in a cell called a classroom at the fucking at the school, man. Okay, you're being indoctrinated to be a fucking prisoner. You know, this is why this truth, John 8:32 tells you that hey, look, the Lord set us free, man. He set us free from that indoctrination, man. He let us know that there's a bigger world that we're being prepared for. But Esau wants you to be distracted by that to make you not think that you're gonna be a ruler. No, only thing you could be is a slave. You know.
God. It's Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 22. Rob not the poor because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate.
And Esau is doing that, man. He's robbing the poor of what little wages that we have. Because when you understand how money works, man, it shows you that Esau is you working for nothing. You know, like we read earlier, Haggai 1:6, because the money that he's giving you is already being taxed. So you get taxed every paycheck. You pay back a little bit of that money to get the tax at the end of the year, which is taxed again. So this nigga always has his hand in your money, man.
Exactly.
You know? So it says, rob not the poor because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. And is not all Americans afflicted at this point? Especially Jake, man. Jake is the main target, man. This is why you're the first hire, the last hired and the first fired. You know, Jake be walking on eggshells at the job because they scared they're gonna get fired because Jake understands, like, look, you one paycheck from being homeless, man. You know, and then on top of that, you get worked to death. Hey, don't let you have a bunch of tardies or nothing, bro. Esau is always looking for a reason to fire you. But then on top of that, you having all these different forms of debt that's being pushed on you. You were told to go to college, now you got student loan debt. All right, you got credit card debt because you were never taught how to use a credit card. You know, and you got a car loan. All right, you was finessed and sold a fucking car for way more than you need. So you got a $600 car payment. You know, you got a $600 car payment and you can barely afford it on top of the insurance, your rent, and everything is going up, man. Insurance rates are going up. All right, rent is going up, bro. You are literally being oppressed, man, and afflicted. All right, and then on top of that, you can't even explore the world, man. Being outside is actually beneficial for your health. All right, going and looking at and experiencing nature. All right, hey, walking on the ground so you can ground, getting those positive that positive energy from the earth. Traveling. Esau gives you vacation days, man, and you only get a certain amount every year.
Right.
You work a whole year just to get a vacation for a week. That's fucked up. That's slavery, man. And then on top of that, for you to even go anywhere, all right, you gotta pay for hotels. You gotta pay for fucking plane tickets, train tickets. If you're driving, gas, the different parts is hella expensive. So it's like, bro, we are literally in prison already, man. The earth was given to us so that we could go and experience life. We aren't meant to work no goddamn 9 to 5 and having to pretty much be you're in a box literally all day. From the time that you wake up, all right, you get in your car, you go to work. Okay, you cook. You never have time really to go outside, man. To go for a walk, get some sunlight. This is why the majority of the world is vitamin D deficient because niggas is working all the damn time, man. And when you do get some time to get off, it's nighttime, bro. You gotta go to sleep just so you can get back up and do the shit all over again, man.
Crazy.
This is hell, man.
God, I can get this for you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's Isaiah 19, and jumping to the point, but the verses before pretty much speak on the lack of work in Egypt, right?
Right.
But when you jump down to verse 10 in the NLT, it says, they will be in despair. All the workers will be sick at heart. And this is what we're seeing take place right now, man, is that desperation, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sickness of the people, right? Going into the physical sickness and the mental illness, man, right? You got people, it was a girl who killed her manager, right?
Yeah.
Was it
She got sent
McDonald's?
home.
But yeah, because she got sent home and she's like, I need work. I need to be able to pay my bills. And she had enough, man. Right? This is the mindset that's gonna be plaguing the vast majority of these people, soon come, man. Right? They're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be in that state of right. It's like, look, if I can't have it, nobody can have it. Right?
Yeah.
Because everything is being taken away from them. Everything that they've put their what's the word? Put their hearts into, right? Everything that they've given themselves over to is starting to fail them before their eyes, and we're about to see them crash out, right? Vigorously.
Yeah, like that Eve that when she got her food stamps cut, it took like $500 of her food stamps. She was like, "Yo, I'm gonna just start stealing, and niggas better not don't say nothing to me. If you don't say something, blame Trump." I'm like, bro, people about to crash out, man.
Exactly.
But this is the mismanagement of the earth because look, we ain't supposed to be living like this, man. All right, and you come home to your crib, your crib is beside people. Most of the time, Jake got fucking, I don't say roommates, but whatever you call the people that live neighbors. You got neighbors, man.
Right.
And these walls, you hear conversations, you hear them slamming the door, you hear them popping and whatnot. You can hear all type of that's not natural. You're not supposed to be living on top of each other, man. You know, on top of that, you shouldn't even be living over 2 stories in the house, man. All right, Esau got niggas on the fucking third, fourth, fifth floor.
Right. Right.
All this shit is unnatural living, man. You know, but grab Ecclesiastes 5 and 9, Bible Shah.
It's Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 9. Moreover, the profit of the earth is for all. The king himself is served by the field.
Right, because the earth was made to be a paradise for all the nations, man. Yeah, the nation of Israel. All right, we own the world because according to Second Ezra, the 6th chapter, then Ezra asked the angel. Grab that real quick. Um, Second Ezra 6 and 55. All this have I spoken before thee. I started at 54. It says, after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people which come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. But the point being, it said that the Lord had a chosen people that was going to, inherit the earth, which is us, the Israelites, man. All right, because as we read earlier, we're the only nation that's profitable for the earth. Because as we just read in verse 56, the Lord doesn't give a damn about the other nations, man. He don't care about the Elamites. He don't care about the Hamites, the Moabites. No, none of the other nations but Israel. Okay, and that's proof because he only gave us the law, statute, commandments. But the point being that none of these nations can do right by the earth like we can because they don't know the Lord's ways, man. You know? And so, as it said, moreover, the profit back in Ecclesiastes 5 and 9, moreover, the profit of the earth is for all. All right. All the earth is meant for all nations to be able to thrive. This is why the Lord gave every nation their own plot of land. All right. And it says the king himself is served by the field because you flourish off of what resources your servants provide for you. All right. When you look at these old, period piece type shows and movies, things like what's the show with Utrecht? The Kingdom or something like that.
Last Kingdom, yeah.
The Last Kingdom. These different like King Arthur. Movies like that. When you see the king is served by the vassals, by the people. Game of Thrones. All these different lands, the subjects unto the king, they provide substance to that kingdom. that's how if Esau was a wise king, how he would be having the people live. So because Elam has the resources that they are known for, which can be a benefit to the king. Ham, whatever nation, when they're left to their own devices, they have things that makes them flourish. Their lands flourish. But the king he gets tribute of all that stuff, man, which is we're going to get in the kingdom of heaven. But Esau, he just takes everything to where they have nothing for themselves, man. You know, he'll go into that land, drain the whole land like Africa. Esau, well, Ham, whatever you want to call it. The original name is Ham, but you know, they drain all the resources out that country, and it looks like a fucking a wasteland, man. When you look at, like I made an example earlier of Gaddafi with Libya, they drained the resources from there, Afghanistan, Iraq, America. Esau's a leech. All right. So the people is what makes the king great. But if you are constantly beating down your people, killing the people, sucking them, sucking all the resources from them, they're not gonna be of no use to you.
God, if I could read this here in the commentary for that verse,
Mm-hmm.
it says, "Without the field, he could not have supplies for his own house,
See?
and unless agriculture flourish, then the necessary expenses of the state cannot be defrayed. Thus, the Most High joins the head and feet together. For while the peasant is protected by the king as executor of the laws, the king himself is dependent on the peasant, as the wealth of the nation is the fruit of the laborer's toil." So just the same point that you made, right? The king needs the laborers, right? Somebody has to do that dirty work, man, right?
Yeah.
And while he's set there to establish order, right, they have to get the daily necessities taken care of, man. Whether it be right on the administrative level or throughout the agriculture or things of that nature, man.
Yeah, the king and the people are supposed to work together, man.
Mm-hmm.
The king being, because the king really is the, as we go into that government means mind control, but the king directs the people to think. All right. So as we're saying, with the Israelites, we're gonna be able to direct the people into a mindset of life to make the earth flourish. And by benefit, they're gonna be able to benefit from us. Because as us restoring the earth back to its rightful place, nations are going to experience, the vegetation grow back, the food, the animals. They're going to be able to experience life how it's supposed to be, man. We ain't going to be like Esau and roll over you with an iron thumb. We're going to keep you in check, okay? So if you go off, we're going to be there to judge you. But as far as, how Esau is like that fucking, like I said, that thumb that's just constantly on you, not giving you a break. Nah, you're gonna keep the Sabbath. You're gonna keep the high holy days. We're gonna allow you to rest. All right, we're gonna allow you to be able to be nurtured the correct way by eating real food, breathing real air, drinking real water. All right, teach you how to eat correctly. And all these different things, man. You know, because like you said, man, the king is made off the people. I'm gonna grab this real quick. This is Proverbs 14:28 in the NLT. A growing population is a king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing. So going back to what we read in Sirach 10, man. All right. A unwise king destroyeth his people. And byproduct, and the byproduct of that is that you're destroying your own kingdom by destroying your servants, man. Because your servants make your kingdom, you know? And it's like, hey, brothers, I'll be thinking about this, from time to time from a book I read, but brothers are literally establishing their own kingdoms within your own world, man. All right. How you run your household, your business, different things. That's you manifesting a mini kingdom of yourself. All right. And the Lord soon is going to allow us to be able to do that on a larger scale, you know?
The scriptures talk about not being a lion in your household, right? And that's like the unwise king, right, can be likened unto that, man, right? Yeah. Because he's bringing unnecessary, turmoil upon the people, and without taking into account the importance, right, of the people, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you read earlier, not read earlier, but you made a mention earlier how they said they raising Social Security to what, like over 70 now?
I think that it's probably going to be, I think it says 66 is right, or 67 right now. but it's
Yeah,
gonna be to 70. So
but that wouldn't be a problem if people were still living, for long fulfilled lives. Look, people barely make it to 70. Shit, people struggling to make it to 50. You know, so this is just showing you, like, look, man, Esau was breaking the people down, man. Could you grab that second Ezra 14 and 17?
God. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 17. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein.
Right. So it says, look how weaker the world has become through age, man. And that's when you look at Esau continually, destroying the people, or destroying the earth, period, because everything is dying at a faster rate, man. Animals, people, the earth itself, man. The fact that these days are going quicker than ever before, that shows you that the Lord is speeding things up, because if not, there would be no flesh to be saved, man. You know? So the people, mainly, thinking about that, nobody is, you know, expected to make it that long, especially now. Everybody's, super jabbed up. Okay, and everybody has a form of turbo cancer. Hey, majority of the people's diet is GMO, and even if you eat organic, you're still eating pesticides. You're full of parasites. All right, all these things are being used to kill us. And then you go to the hospital or the doctor to try to get healed. They're giving you fucking pharmaceuticals, which is killing you even further, man. So this is why people are dying more and more at an alarming rate, because Esau is literally destroying the people on purpose, man. Look at it's a video dealing with the Rockefellers, how they, pretty much took over the medical field, and they changed how these doctors and nurses are taught, to where you don't learn about functional medicine. You just learn about pharmaceuticals, man. And they did that so they could push their petroleum based medicines. All right, because that's what's pretty much getting all the people sick and killing them, man. And then on top of that, you look at these food companies, all the biggest diseases I was talking about, diabetes, cancer, whatever else is the other ones. These food companies all are invested in these the cancer society, diabetes and whatnot. The foods that cause it are the foods that's sponsoring these damn things, man. Or it's like I said it backwards. These foundations are sponsoring the very food that cause these diseases, man. You know, so this is all it's all a big ass mind fuck to kill you, right? I'm gonna grab this here. Psalm 90 and 10. It says, "The days of our years are 80 and 10, and if by reason of strength they be 80 years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off and we fly away." All right. So when you go into it, says 80 and 10. This is around about 70 years old, I believe. Um, Double check it in the blue letter, but I believe it says 70.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because the
Look
score
at,
is 20.
yeah. So so pretty much it says that the average lifespan is supposed to be 70, and if you make it to 40, I mean, it's like you make it 40, make it to 80. All right, you pretty much ain't gonna be able to enjoy life, man. You're gonna be, brittle, sick, finished, man. Niggas on fucking ventilators, have to carry around oxygen tanks. If you abuse your life, you gotta constantly be going back and forth to the hospital, getting surgeries. That's not a life to live, man. Scripture talk about, death is better than a continual sickness. All right. Instead of letting you die, Esau is just, maintaining you to keep you coming back to the hospital to get these doctors more money. This shows you this nigga he's a demon, man.
And I got this article or this post off of Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
It says, oldest living person says life is a punishment, and that she hasn't had a single happy day in 128 years. So this is the state of the whole earth, man.
Damn, that's crazy. Well, it's like
no, but that like the brother like you were making mention, priest, right? For somebody to live 80 years, right? Your health is gonna be struggling. You're gonna be in a position of constant need, right? Because all the nutrients have been taken from the earth. the everything that you partake in has been poisoned, right? And the minds of the people, right, have all been polluted. And so everything you can't enjoy the world, man. You can't enjoy your life. So imagine being in this place for 100 years, right? There's nothing to look forward to, man. Right? That's why people, you know, a lot of these people out here are seeking death through all these various means because they don't see themselves, being able to sustain a life, the way things are currently going.
Nope. Because like I said earlier, you're given you were taught a way of death. Because according to Esau, he doesn't do things to serve himself any good. So he's taught our people how to destroy ourselves too. This is Sirach 14:5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he do psychic? To whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his good. So Esau himself isn't good to himself, man. So if he's not good to himself, he's destroying himself. You think he's gonna tell you things to prolong yourself?
Exactly.
Like it's another scripture that I just thought about. It talks about do good unto thyself, you
Mhm.
know, and something along the lines of that. But you're not taught on how to take care of yourself, man. This is why when we came into this truth, us learning different things, how to eat right. We learn you got to stretch. You got to keep your body moving, whatever physical exercise. You got to teach yourself on how to pretty much wind down, man. You know, calm your nervous system because one thing about what this society is doing is making people, languish, and another form of languishing is, stress. This is why everybody has depression, anxiety. Say an old girl, she died from burnout. I looked up on Google. Put this on the screen. I looked up on the screen. I said, "What is burnout, and can you die from it?" It says burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged or excessive stress, often stemming from work related or caregiving situations. While burnout itself is not a disease, it can significantly impact physical and mental health, and in severe cases, may contribute to conditions that can be fatal, such as heart disease or suicide. One thing that I just thought about as reading this, what's causing a lot of these people to be in this state of mind is they don't have any trust in the Lord, man.
Exactly.
Okay? Hey, in the Lord's prayer, we literally ask the Lord every day, for our daily bread. The Lord is always going to make sure we have enough to be able to get to the next day, man. You know, but these people are trying to, save their lives and prolong their comfort here. But as we said, they're dying trying to keep up this facade, man. You don't need to go on a fucking vacation every weekend. All right.
Right.
You don't need to eat no extravagant meal every damn day, man. All right. You don't have to floss and let people think that you're living this spectacular life when you literally are faking it for everybody, including yourself, man. Niggas are killing themselves to try to impress other people, man. As well as take care of themselves. Okay. It says, what is burnout? Burnout is characterized by a feeling of exhaustion, negativity, and reduced professional efficiency. It's often triggered by prolonged exposure to demanding work environments, lack of control, and inefficient support. Also, a lack of sleep too. It says burnout is not a medical diagnosis, but rather an occupational phenomenon. And this is not a medical information. We're just reading what's on Google, man. All right, so don't hit us with no damn strike. It says it can lead to depression, anxiety, and physical health problems. It says, can you die from burnout? While not a direct cause of death, burnout can increase the risk of certain health issues that can be fatal, cardiovascular issues, suicide, and other health problems. But this comes from increased stress. And the scriptures talk about uh, uh, pretty much stress, man. Trying to remember where the verse is at.
I
But
got
yeah,
one.
you can make one real quick, brother. I'm gonna find that.
It's Proverbs 30 and verse 8. It reads, remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. Right? So, like I said, remove far from me vanity and lies, right? When you reading, I believe it's Ecclesiastes second chapter, it talks about how all is vanity and vexation of spirit, man. These
Mm-hmm.
people chasing after this life, right? They're bringing that great vexation, like that. That's that mental anguish. That's that sickness. That's that burnout, as you made mention of, right? That people are falling victim to because they're putting themselves in a position to have to try to keep up with the Joneses, right? To have to maintain these lifestyles, right? For it's like for what, right? Is your life worth this lifestyle? And
Exactly.
but it said, "Give me neither poverty nor riches, feed me with food convenient for me." Right. So if you fear Yahweh about Shemal Shai and you understand these things, right, you're gonna be asking for just your daily bread, right? Like you may mention of the Lord's Prayer, man. You're gonna just want what you need to get by to get to the next day, man. Because anything else can be a detriment, right, to your walk. That's what people don't understand is that an overabundance is just as bad as a extreme lack, right? They both fall in the same spectrum because you're gonna find yourself in positions to destroy yourself, man.
Kind. Can you read that last verse again, Abu Shah?
Okay. Proverbs 30 and verse 8. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches.
Mm-hmm.
Feed me with food convenient for me.
Right. So she said, "Feed me with food convenient for me," because at the end of the day, it says in Job that the Lord, roughly paraphrasing, that he preferred the words of the Lord over his necessary raiment. All right. So the main thing that you should be looking for, all right, is this word to sustain you. And when you do that, you understand you don't have to work yourself to death, man. Okay. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah will provide you for whatever it is that you need, man. All right. The scriptures talk about that. All right. The Lord knows what you need. All right. He clothes the animals, the grass and everything. So you don't think he knows what you need, man? He's not gonna allow his servants to beg for bread, man. You know. But I wanted to speak on that stress thing real quick because, like I said, the Lord gives warning about that. So this is Proverbs chapter 30 and 21. Give not thy mind, it's like give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. So it says, "Give not thy mind over to heaviness." What's that? Those thoughts. Well, man, how am I gonna make it? All right, if I ain't gotta get me another job, or if I gotta get me another job, man, you know, I gotta cover my this bill, that bill, whatever. Look, you believe in Yahweh Shemal Shai, we ain't gotta worry about that, man. All right.
Right.
Now you gotta do what you gotta do if that's something, but we're not stressing over that. We're not stressing over certain bills, man. Okay. The Lord is always gonna provide a way to make sure that we're taken care of, man. So if some bills gotta get paid late, fuck it. Keep your peace of mind at the end of the day. Because as I said, the gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days, man. Hey, so being happy, that's actually beneficial for you, man. And you do that to the best of your ability. Whatever keeps you, all right, content in the spirit, like scripture say, defraud not yourself of a good day. All right. Hey, you do your work for Esau, do your work for Yahweh Shem Shop first and foremost. All right. And then, do something for you. Whatever hobby you got, do something that's gonna take your mind off that stress. So Esau, isn't killing you, man. Okay. It says, love thine own soul and comfort thy heart. What I just said, remove sorrow from thee, for sorrow have killed many, and there is no profit therein. All right. So hey, that stress is a motherfucker, man. This is why you see a lot of people dropping dead because it's an overload of stress, man. Your nervous system is constantly on alert, which is terrible for your body, man. You know, you're constantly in a state of fight or flight. So that's why they say cortisol is up at an all-time high, which is leading to high blood pressure, people's heart exploding because it's overworking itself. Hey, people literally dropping dead because they just stressed the hell out, man. All right, it shows you that this man is the devil. All right, he's doing these things on purpose. Hey, more money for the morticians. All right, more money for them to put people in the ground. Because shit, I just found out when you die, bro, you got to pay for the hole. You got to pay for them to dig the hole. You got to pay for the casket. If you get cremated, you got to pay for the urn, the service. Yeah, this nigga got death tax. Yo, this nigga got everything that's oppressive, bro. You
Hey,
got
and
life insurance and death tax, man. That's fucked up.
after a certain time, right? I think it's 100 years. You're no longer you no longer own that plot, right? So they can take your body out and pretty much do away with whatever they want to do with it, cremate it, whatever they do,
Yeah.
and then put somebody else in there.
Hey, that's the spirit too, not the rare. But somebody asked that last week. Matter of fact, that's the spirit you said that because there was this chick at work. She was like, "Yo, so what do they do with the old body? Because you know these cemeteries always have plots ready for people." And I was like, "Damn, I never thought about that." And you just confirmed that in the spirit. That's funny. But that shows you that's fucking wicked, man.
Exactly.
This is why Esau be having a movie like Amityville Horror because these niggas building over cemeteries. All right, especially these Native American cemeteries. So these demons be fucking with Esau, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, shoot. I mean, really, you can kind of end it with that because I mean, this kind of going into something else, what I have for the rest of it. But we can kind of end it with that. We're just showing you that this man is killing. All right, his servants, man. All right, unwise king is destroying his kingdom through his servants, man. All right. You got anything else you want to add, bro?
That was it.
All right. So, hey, with that, Lord willing, we pray this lesson was edifying. We want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us His truth and that rule well. And peace and blessings to the elect. Until next time, we say Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.